Hello everyone, my name is Taranjeet Saund and today I'll be discussing the impact of a sunburn at the molecular level as well as the role of melanin. When we talk about how one would actually get sunburned, it's important to understand the electromagnetic spectrum. This spectrum displays the range of frequencies of electromagnetic radiation, starting from high-frequency gamma rays to ultraviolet radiation representing our sun, and leading up to long-wavelength radio waves. And as you can see in this picture, they go from gamma waves all the way to ultraviolet, visible light, infrared radiation, microwaves, and down to radio waves with the longest wavelength. Ultraviolet rays specify into their categories UVA, UVB, and UVC, with UVA being moderately stronger than UVC, and UVC is commonly known to reflect off. When you are exposed to UVA and UVB via sunlight exposure onto your skin, UVA will penetrate into the middle skin layer, known as the dermis, and damage newly made skin cells along the site. UVB is quite similar to the effect where it will instead travel as far as the skin surface layer, called the epidermis, causing the physical indications of reddening and swelling of the skin, and that is due to the flush of released chemicals that are doing their best ability to recover the damaging DNA. Sunburn becomes the damage through our DNA, starting from these unstable, highly excited molecules called free radicals, which act as high energy levels because they lack one electron from becoming unstable. Free radicals will make their way into the cell's plasma membrane and alternate the phospholipid bilayer to where the nonpolar hydrophobic tails will have various bondings with hydroxyls or an oxygen atom. When there are too many free radicals revolving around the surface as a result of UV radiation, the need for antioxidants is also increased, and cells will undergo oxidative stress. So this image shows our free radicals free floating around the cell's plasma membrane, and many of the nonpolar tails have these molecules stuck around them, which is actually due to the excited electrons from the free radicals. Oxidative stress is the result of the free radicals that cause an imbalance to multiple reactive oxygen species, nicknamed ROS. When high-energy UV radiation strikes the skin, it results in a reaction and further damage of the basic DNA structure. When the damage is beyond repair, the cell will experience apoptosis, also known as cell death. So in this image, you can see oxidative stress starting from a normal cell, and then the next image shows a cell with free radicals all around them outside of the cell. And with our next image, you can see the cell is shriveled up as a result of cell death or apoptosis. At a deeper level, those free radicals that come from the combination of ultraviolet rays will make it to the nucleus and perform an alteration known as the intrastrand crosslink. A pyrimidine dimer will form vertically between two pyrimidines, commonly known as the two thymine nitrogenous bases, covalently bonding to each other, rather than giving their adjacent base pair adenine. In the long run, when going through protein synthesis, that newly made kink will be deceiving through the process of transcription and translation, especially for the instances where base substitution occurs. At the end, amino acids that we code for will be different than what the codon may have intended to be, and as the proteins progress, we can have a growth of tumors or cancer, as the ultraviolet light may have done so. Now, as the UV sunlight rays have already tackled the DNA structure of the affected cells and further created a weakening immune response, fixing the cross-linked nitrogen bases is quite unlikely, while it's more likely that the cell will go through cell death. The mutated cells from UVB will progress into BRCA2 cancer cells. Even though BRCA2 gene is an inherited gene, the clumping of these mutated cells of kink bases follow the same effect on the cell on the skin tissue, except categorized as non-melanoma skin cancer. So you can see in this image where UVA and UVB are exposed onto a normal cell, and when we have that mutation as a result of that UVA, we will have a cancer cell as the proteins are synthesized at their max. The depth of cancer cells is mainly dependent on the progression progression of time and also the affected area since some skin tissue is often more dense than another. Once the mutated gene has passed through the site of DNA replication and protein synthesis, mitosis will multiply the cells as if they are normal healthy cells along the melanocytes. As you can see in this picture, with how deep is the cancer, we can see how each of the clumps are measured by millimeters, and we start from the epidermis all the way down to the subcutaneous tissue, and those clumps are representing how those cancer cells have multiplied in number as a result of mitosis, thinking that they are normal cells. After cell death, damaged RNA will follow out to the membrane, appearing as the inflammation that you would get from a sunburn. This inflammation is meant to remove the damaged cells from the body before they get cancerous, although the more UV you're exposed to, the higher your chance of the mutations to occur. With deeper skin tones, the melanin acts as a strong barrier against UV rays, while for individuals with more pale skin tones, may be more susceptible to skin cell damage because of their little population of melanin in their melanocytes. This image shows how melanin among the melanocytes serve as barriers to UV exposure. Looking at this study of a 72-hour observation on mouse skin shows that after a given exposure to UV radiation, the brighter green indicates populating apoptotic cells and cells susceptible to becoming cancerous. At no UV, you can see how there is a lighter tint and very little count of apoptotic cells, whereas after 24 hours, that is a peak. And sunscreen is still a vital product to apply daily for individuals of all skin tones to protect yourself from any UV radiation damage while having fun under the California sun. Thank you.